Hey, welcome to another countdown to Outbound. I'm Mark Hunter, the sales hunter. And hey, I have got my cup of coffee. In fact, you're going to notice the mug because the man, the legend behind the cup, behind the mug is in the studio today. We're going to welcome Rod here in just a moment. So, hey, let's get the video rolling and we'll get him in the studio. Okay, now in full disclosure, this is a paid placement because you did get me the mug. Good morning. How you
doing? You skipped there, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? Okay, we'll have to do this again. This is not this is a paid placement because I'm holding his mug. He sent it to me in the mail. So anyway, good morning, Rod. How you doing?
How you doing, Mark?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. So, hey, you are a coach to an incredible wide section of people. What are you hearing? What are you seeing out there as we kind of exit COVID?
Absolutely a lot of optimism, no doubt about it. But it is, it is correlated the optimism to the markets. Certainly the less optimistic would be New York City, 100%. We have a lot of clients there that they're still concerned, and not from a health issue, more of a regulatory legislation policy issue more than anything else. But otherwise, tertiary markets, major markets, secondary markets, man, I just heard at a conference actually, Mark, that they were hoping to get 200 people and they opened it up. They sold 800 tickets in the first 3 hours.
Wow.
Because this pent up demand of let's get out there. So
that must be outbound you're talking about.
It probably was outbound, but it's also other conferences I'm talking about. Yeah. So yes, it probably is outbound.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I sense we're in an optimistic economic growth period. And it's kind of funny because people are so optimistic. Stuff is happening out there. They don't quite know yet what the full magnitude is, but boy, they're optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'm hearing from almost all our clients is I can't find help. I can't find labor. And that's a good and bad sign, but it's a sign that people are growing, right? We're coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think the labor shortage, and again, is that a labor shortage or is that just a misallocation of resources in terms of financial, in terms of what you're willing to pay people? I don't know.
It's a lot of variables in that equation.
Well, I mean, one thing that I'm seeing is that there was no movement of employees over the last year. If you had a job, you stayed put. So now suddenly people are kind of got itchy feet. They're looking to wander, but they're also looking to be compensated very well for it. And then for those businesses that are reopening, hospitality and so forth, there is a real staffing issue, no doubt about it. But boy, you can't draw a straight line and say, this is what's happening out there.
No, it's really market by market. It is client by client. It's about the approach we all took during the pandemic. I personally took one where we were not going to let anyone go, no matter what. And when we're definitely stronger for it. And I think our employees are potentially, I would hope, more loyal and more appreciative that we kept on moving forward. I think that's true of a lot of people out there who kept their jobs.
Yeah. Okay. So what's a big lesson you learned out of the last year?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's going to sound like, really, is that what you learned? But it really, the one lesson I learned, Mark, it's funny. I get coached by so many people. I mean, I think if you're a coach and you don't get coached, it's kind of hypocritical. But I have a coach I'm 57. One of my coaches is 26 years old. And she told me, Rod, I think what you should start doing during the pandemic is I want you to hold a weekly call with a certain amount of your elite clients. Those clients just have a different level of coaching relationships, and just help them understand what's going through this process, this pandemic. And so I said, you know what, let's do that. Let's have that call for all our elite clients. And we did a weekly call, and it was, without a doubt, I continue to do it today. I did it on Monday. I do it every week now, and every week we meet a part of a standard program where I get out there. We have hundreds of clients and 30 something coaches. So I don't get to talk to a lot of my clients, but that communication, Mark, me being in front of our clients on a consistent basis, that they can reach me. I've had more letters received of appreciation and therefore more client retention because of that simple thing we call, and our friend Jim McCarr would call, communication.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's funny because I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing open office hours, and I'm inviting my elite people in, and it is amazing the conversations we're having. And it came out of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things. I look back on it, and again, it's whether or not you're an optimist or a pessimist. I look back on it, I'm going to say that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Now, I don't mean that. I don't, disparage people who got ill. I know a lot of people who got ill. I had friends who passed away from COVID. But the learning experiences that I've taken away from it and how much more efficient I am personally in my businesses.
Oh, especially look,
insane.
you part of your revenue, I'm sure, is getting out there and speaking, and that was cut off, right? So you adapted like everyone else, and you're right. And we went back and said, well, if we broke, why did we break? What was it about our business? And that's great. That's a great point, Mark, because if your business did break, it is absolutely had an impact of the pandemic and the lack of demand on the service or product you're providing, without a doubt. But if it broke, there were some fundamental cracks in there that had to be addressed all along the way. You're absolutely correct. And so, yeah, even we went back and said, okay, let's solidify the foundation.
It's so much easier to run a high volume business than it is a low volume business, because a low vol, right? I mean, this was a lesson I learned at 18 years of age when I was managing McDonald's restaurants. It was really easy running a high volume restaurant. You just go. Mm-hmm. It was the low volume that you had to watch the back door as closely as you did the front door, and your costs. And something that I find so fascinating is, for many businesses, the outcome they created did not change because of the pandemic. And I'm going to use the speaking industry. I hang out with a lot of speakers who that's their living. The outcome they create didn't change because of the pandemic. It was just the medium with which they delivered it. Instead of standing on the stage in front of thousands of people, now they stood in front of a camera. The outcome was still the same. It was just the delivery method. Mm-hmm. And that I think is a little bit of a head spin. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to quote one of the founders of Netflix made this comment. He said, when you reduce friction, you increase consumption. Think about that for a moment, right? Mm-hmm. And you think about Blockbuster and everything else. But I think to a certain degree, this whole thing called the internet, this whole thing called virtual, like we're doing here, that exploded. We reduced friction. We increased consumption.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think you would agree. I think most of us agree that the pandemic, again, beyond the horrific health issues, absolutely accelerated time. We were all going to get here on this medium eventually. We were going to do things differently. And now we are. It's just simply where we have to be.
Yeah, we jammed like 30 or 40 years of societal change into 12 months, right? I mean, we lived in dog.
It was painful. It was painful, but
we lived in dog years this past year. Yeah.
And I've shared with you that I'm one of the original clients of Zoom. I'm one of the original clients. So someone said, you're getting used to the Zoom thing. I was like, I've been doing Zoom for almost 9 years now, so we're good.
Isn't it funny how people will sit there and say there's Zoom fatigue, and yet they'll sit down in front of their television at night and watch Netflix for 3 hours?
Mark, I've never heard that. You're absolutely correct.
Think about that for a moment. Is that Zoom fatigue, or is that content fatigue, or just bad screen?
Yeah. Or the fact that on a TV show you don't have to interact, but on Zoom you better be there, and also you're going to be dressed.
Yes, you have to be. Yeah, you're right. Because when we do go back live, it's going to be interesting to see how many people show up at events not dressed from the waist down. No, I won't go there.
I commit to you that in OutBound, I will have pants on. How's that?
I'm not even going to go down that path with you at all, man. That's forget it. So anyway, so hey, what's some advice that you're telling people right now as they look out to the second half of the year? What are you telling your coaching clients?
Yeah, it depends on what their focus is. Obviously, their industry and their mediums, but this thing called let's face it, this thing is called Zoom is evaporating from a clientele relationship experience again. We're getting back out there. I'm actually pushing our clients right now to have as many physical meetings as they possibly can. And again, every state's different, every city's different, every municipality's different, mask mandate and not. But I mean, yesterday, a client in New York, I said, okay, when's the next event? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, this in June, when's your event? We have an event. People want to get out, outbound, other conferences, in other industries. So I'm really pushing to everyone, get out. People want to be seen. And yes, maybe there is Zoom fatigue.
Yeah, I was with a client the other day. He's the CEO of a medical device company, and a couple of his salespeople, this was about 2 weeks before, had made a call on a major healthcare facility, and they were welcomed with open arms. They were the first salespeople to walk through the doors of that healthcare facility in over a year. And man, they had an audience that they never could have imagined because they were the first ones out there. Mm-hmm. I think that's what makes Outbound so cool, because we really are on the front end. We're on the front end.
I just can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's and hey, we should do a little plug for it because tickets are still available for both the in-person June 13th or 15th through the 18th, and the virtual, which starts on the 13th. Multiple levels of tickets. Hey, what's your secret code?
Oh, the secret code is ROD, ROD 100.
Okay, I think you can remember that. That's even simpler than my secret code. Okay, so yeah. Use ROD 100, because I'll tell you what. I mean, people always ask me what Outbound is like, and you can't really it's hard. It defies logic, because it's not like so many conferences where everybody's selling from the stage. Right. This is all salespeople, but nobody's selling from the stage. It is content. It is content that you can run with, and I think that's what makes it so valuable. Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. I would just say I won't name the conference. I went to a conference in March in a state that didn't believe in COVID. Just put it that way. and
let's see, March state that I think I know the state. Okay.
They had 2,000 people sitting like this in a conference room. Supposedly no one got COVID, by the way. But it was a frenzy of optimism and just in the air, there was a buzz. And if it happened in March at that location, I'm telling you that Outbound in a couple of weeks from now is going to be just absolutely incredible. It is.
I think ticket sales are just going to be skyrocketing over the next several weeks. Hey, we're following all the CDC guidelines. We're being very respectful of space and how the whole thing is working. But I really do encourage people to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be in Atlanta the 15th through the 18th. Outbound conference, ROD 100. That's that secret code. So what are you going to be talking about? What are you going to be sharing?
Well, I have two things. On some virtual sessions, we're going to talk about getting referrals, client referrals. It's something that really is, I don't know why, Mark, for a lot of our clients, it's just a struggle. I don't get why, because, oh gosh, we have to ask for them. But client referrals, I have a whole session that you could live stream when it comes out virtually on client referrals. But then during the live session, the elite breakout sessions on the 18th, I'm going to talk about winning that assignment when you present. We're going to talk a lot about prospecting and doing all the work and getting on the call and what to say all during Outbound, right? But now you finally got the opportunity. Don't blow it. So we're going to share with you some things we've learned that really help people win more assignments.
I tell you what, this whole thing is going to be one of those things that whether you're there live or virtual, you're going to be going back and checking the recordings again and again and again. Hey, if people want to get in touch with you, because we got to wrap this up, but we got the after the show. So we don't run away, people. And Rod, don't you run away. But your website.
Massimo, Massimo.coach. Massimo.coach.
Hey, I think that's pretty easy. Okay, I think you can figure that out. So anyway, hey, we are going to cut to the after the show here in just a second, but I really want to encourage you, be there for Outbound June 15th through the 18th in Atlanta. Rod and I are going to be there, and I know we got a few other friends that are coming. So hey, let's cut to the video, and we'll be right back. I didn't say that was going to be a long video, did I?
No, you didn't.
It catches, believe me, it catches everybody because everybody's thinking, oh, this is going to be 30, 45 seconds. I actually had one person, I won't say who it was, but they stepped away from, they stepped out of the picture because they thought they had like 20 or 30 seconds. And it's like, oh, that was fun. That was good. That was good. So anyway, hey, I'll tell you what, we have not actually physically met. It feels like I've known you forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Mark. Between our podcasts we've done, Facebook, LinkedIn, all your posts, I know Mark. Yeah, sure.
And it's always funny when people meet me and they haven't seen me before. You're a lot taller than I thought you were.
I was about to say. So, Mark, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna look into the audience in the group. I'm gonna see a guy that's either 4'8" and go, is that Mark? Or a guy's gonna be, 6'9" and go, oh my gosh, that's Mark.
It really is, because we recognize people by a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Or we recognize people by a video, but it's hard to get context in a video as to how big or small a person is and so forth. Yeah. And it is always comical. But
okay. So I'm assuming you're closer to 6'9" than 4'8". Is that fair?
I am closer to 6'9" than I am 4'8". Yes. But I'm not 6'9". That's a good friend of mine, Mark Eaton. He played in the NBA for 7'2", and I've gone to dinner with him. And when you call an Uber, you really got to be careful as to what Uber you're getting. Okay. I was at a dinner with him, and we laughed, and there was 3 of us leaving, and we thought we'd get a big Suburban, and could not get any. I can't remember what we wound up with. He said, "You know what? I'll just call my own Uber," so he could spread out in the back seat. Yeah.
I don't think people truly realize when you say 7. He's 7'2". Is that what he was?
7'2".
Yeah. I actually had occasions to meet and hang out with a guy named Tony Zubak, who was a center for the national champion, the Duke team. Yeah. And when I first met him, I thought I was staring at his belt buckle.
Yeah. And of course, this is interesting. We're like 19 minutes into it, and you mentioned Duke for the first time. So the Duke Blue Devils.
We got a big lacrosse game tomorrow or the next day. So I'm just gonna be in front of my TV watching NCAA lacrosse. That's my weekend.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hey, we need to run, but this has been absolutely terrific. I'm looking forward to seeing you and comparing you to your thumbnail. No, comparing you to your videos, because I do watch a lot of your videos. So anyway,
well, I'm gonna go run and tell my kids I actually got to spend time with the one and only sales hunter.
Hey, that's trademarked. You can't steal it. Okay.
Take it easy, Mark.
See you later. Outbound Conference. See you there. Take care.
Bye.